Well, hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Alex! What's that? Pujo! I see you. I see you in chat. How are you doing today? Get all set up here. Harrison! What is going on? Did everyone get to watch their favorite build streams? Their build sessions? Get your build on? Anything interesting? Anything anyone's excited about? What about Maui? Right? Anyone excited about Maui? The .NET multi-application UI platform? Excited for the Hawaiian monkeys to come. Alex, Maui goodness. Yeah, Maui's gonna be very interesting. Well, it's essentially Xamarin.Forms. But they have an opportunity. Okay? So Microsoft, the Xamarin.Forms team, has an opportunity to fix the crappy XAML that they have now with Maui. But from what I can tell, they're not going to do that, which is very unfortunate. Actually, on Twitter, there's been some conversation, and one of the things was, you know, there were some people talking, and they were basically saying, when I say they, I say, you know, someone saying, hey, great, Maui, we're going to have a chance to actually fix XAML, you know, get on XAML standard, or just, you know, just make it better. And then, you know, there's the XAML team, or the Xamarin.Forms team's like, nope, we're not going to do that. We're not fixing the XAML. And they were like, really? Because every person we talk to is like, the XAML sucks. Like, why did you make certain decisions? Now's the time to fix those decisions. You can do it. Yes. And then the response, well, are you talking to, you know, people who don't have experience with XAML? Like, no. Because people who don't have experience with XAML don't give a crap about what the XAML looks like. However, a large market of your developer pool coming from XAML platforms really do care, and you're really making it painful for them to make the move. So why not just fix the XAML, cater to that huge market, and then the people coming from non-XAML backgrounds won't care. They won't know any different. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any freaking sense to me. I don't know why they fight this. Why are they fighting this so hard? I'm sure they have a reason. I'm sure they do. It could be political. It can be they don't care. It could be time. It could be resources. I don't know. All I know, they need to fix the damn thing. Because you know who's going to win this market? Uno platform. Because they standardized on the UWP XAML. And they could already go to WebAssembly, iOS, and Mac, and like all that. They already do that. And so when you look at Maui and you say, oh, this looks like a direct competitor to Uno, it is, but Uno's going to kick their butts because Microsoft is being stubborn and they don't want to listen to anybody. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Come on. Fix your XAML. Philip. Yeah, they had an opportunity to fix Skype too. We saw that. You had Skype for Business, right? And now we have Teams. I don't even know what's going on with like Skype for Business and Skype. I have no idea what's going on with those. Yeah, namespace. Alex, you're right. They're just changing the Xamarin.Forms namespaces, right? And you're worried about the lack of XAML used in demos. I think they're just trying to show off that new MVU, I think it's what it's called, Model View Update or something like that, where you code your UIs in code. Like, at least they said it was a preference thing, right? They said it was a preference. I don't know. I have opinions, but, you know, everyone has opinions. Who cares what I think? No one cares. I don't care what I think. Yeah, they'd have to decide which to use. Well, I mean, honestly, it makes sense to use the UWP XAML. I mean, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm a WPF guy. I love WPF. However, even I can see the writing on the wall. It's like, well, you need to move the XAML platform forward, and UWP does that. And WinUI is interesting, right? Because WinUI is just an abstraction of UI controls. It's not necessarily a XAML markup language. Okay, it's not a spec for the XAML markup. It's just they're taking the UI components and abstracting them away from the operating system, right? So that's what WinUI is. Okay. Comment by Clancy. I'm not familiar with Comment, but I think actually I am. I think that's the MVU coded UI stuff that he was working on, and I think that's what they based this work off of. Yeah. As long as they don't force me to use shell with MVU. As long as they don't force me to use shell, period. I can't stand that thing. I'm sorry. Pete Coach, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining today. Yeah, shell is just one jacked up. Ugh, God. Don't get me started on shell. I'm opinionated on shell. It's great for some people. It really is. It's great for some people. But just kill it. Just kill it. They're trying to make Xamarin.Forms easier to use. They saw Flutter and how easy Flutter is to use. Like, oh my God, we got to do something. So let's just hodgepodge something on top of what we have. Create a completely ambiguous, confusing API. Implement some great Prism features, but not implement them correctly. And then, yeah, it's... Don't get me started on shell. Harrison, I don't feel bad. I'm not the only one who dislikes shell. Yeah, I don't think... I personally haven't met anyone or talked to anyone that likes shell. That's not to say... That's anecdotal, right? That's not to say that shell's not great for a lot of people. Just the people I happen to talk to don't like it. Whatever. Who am I? Who am I? I'm nobody. But there's a reason Prizm doesn't support shell right now. The whole thing's just under development. Let's put it that way. It's not really ready for prime time, right? They got a lot of work to do on that thing. So it is what it is. What a fab MS build. So, this is another interesting thing about online conferences. So I have been to every in-person build since day one. Since the very first one, I think that was in Anaheim. Their very first build. I've been to every single one of them. And so people are like, oh, well, this is, this online build. This is the death of all in-person events. I highly disagree. And in fact, I will probably not attend another virtual online event, personally. Because it was kind of pointless. It was useless to watch it live. And the reason I say that is because an in-person event has so many benefits, but the main benefit is you're there. You disconnect from work and family and being in your local community and those responsibilities you have, work, right? And you're able to come on site, focus. You get to walk around, meet thousands of people, interact directly with the, with employees of Microsoft or booth vendors right at their booth, one-on-one conversations. You get to go to the sessions, talk to the speakers after the fact. Like, there is so many benefits. The after parties, the socializing, the networking. There is so much you get in an in-person event that when I started watching build, what was I doing? Well, crap, I was answering work emails. I had to get work stuff done. My kids are home out of school because of the virus, so I have to, I have family responsibilities. I have work responsibilities. I got household chores and stuff that need to be done. I got a pet I have to take care of and constantly monitor. Like, distractions everywhere. Then, you're watching these things online. You can't really interact with anyone. They don't monitor the chat, really. There's a few, like on Twitch, there's some sessions that actually monitor the chat. But it's not the same. You can't have those in-depth conversations with people. You can't talk to the product teams and, and talk about specific issues you're having or, You know, you can't meet up with Mads on the extensibility team at his booth and say, Mads, let me show you this code. Do you see a problem here? Like, what's going on? Is this a bug? Like, I probably won't. There was no benefit to me trying to watch an online virtual event live. You know, plus, trying to find your sessions was impossible. You had this My Build where you try to build your agenda. If you were lucky enough, your sessions weren't full on a virtual event. It wasn't full, however that works. So if your sessions weren't full, you could actually show that, you know, attend them. But then again, it's like, it was really confusing. It's hard to find any sessions. You know, it's just like, okay, is this one on Twitch? Is this one on some separate player? Is this one on the main my.build.com or whatever website? Like, where is this at? Yeah, Teams. Like, do I need to join a Teams meeting? Yeah. It's just not, it's not for me. Yeah, Harrison, right. Virtual ones are okay, but you definitely miss out on the networking and peak codes. This virtual MVP Summit too. Missed all the hallway tracks. Oh yeah, MVP Summit. That is all about networking, talking to other MVPs, the people. It's about the people. The content. Most of what Microsoft is working on now anyways is public. So when it comes to MVP Summit, we really don't get a lot of like inside information anyways. So yeah. And then that's just if, not including on top of all that mess of being at home, dealing with all your responsibilities, trying to watch a session live. Hopefully the session you care about is available in your time zone. Hopefully, right? Otherwise, you're watching recordings anyways. So, I don't know. Me personally, I think I'm not going to waste my time trying to attend a live virtual event. Instead, I'll just wait for the blogs to come out. I'll wait for the recordings, and I'll watch what I care about. Right? That's all I'm going to do. Yeah, they did live repeat a lot of the sessions, which was interesting because some of those sessions were recorded anyways. Like one of those repeat sessions was recorded, and so that 30-minute session was actually a 90-minute recording, but they gave the 30-minute repeat like 3 times. I'm like, but just get the recording out and see all 90 minutes. Like, just things like that. It's not like you actually get to interact with anybody, like real interaction. Okay. Anyways, that was my experience. I hardly got to really watch anything anyways, because I was working. Right? You can't disconnect when you're at work trying to watch this thing. It's impossible. You can't do it. So what are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? You know, on Tuesday, what was that? Alex, I was lucky I was off this week, but otherwise would I had the same issues as you? Yeah, well, you were very lucky. Even then, let's say I was off work. Okay. Would I spend my time off work watching an online event, trying to hunt down these sessions with 15-minute breaks in between? I still have my family here. I still have my responsibility. I have other things I need to do, and I'm here, and I have the time. It's like, crap. Well, I don't get this time off work often, so I better go take care of these other responsibilities, and I'll just watch the recordings later because I'm home. As opposed to being wherever, in Seattle, Redmond, Anaheim, wherever they've had it. I think they've had it in San Francisco one time, I think. I don't remember. But when you're separated from that, like you're disconnected from your daily responsibilities, so the experience is so much better. It really is. So much better. If you've ever been to a live build event, you know what I'm talking about. It's not, there is no comparison, zero comparison to a virtual event and the live build event. No comparison whatsoever. Yeah, I just had it on the background. Right, you had it on the background, and maybe you hear some parts, and maybe you don't. Maybe you'll hear something that piques your interest. Oh, what was that? What was that? Let me pay attention. Right? Otherwise, you're not watching it. You're not focused on it. Right? It's just kind of there. Right? Anyways, that's my soapbox. Hold on. Let me step off. There, I'm off my soapbox. Once again, that's just my opinion, which everyone has one. Who cares? Like I said, who cares what I say? But I do want to figure out what we're going to work on today. So Tuesday, we did a special stream on Tuesday that really focused on the COVID health hack students and attendees that were participating in that event. And so we didn't get through a lot of the Xamarin.Forms and Prism features. So I figured, we could kind of continue talking about all the cool stuff you could do with Prism for Xamarin.Forms, right? And so I guess I kind of have to get my computer set up for that. Let's start by opening Visual Studio. We can do that. I can definitely start by opening up my Visual Studio. Let's create a new project. I'm not sure. So on Tuesday, we kind of left off with some navigation, some basic navigation. So let's do that. Let's start with a Prism blank app, right? Something simple. That'll work. And yeah, just Android. And let me plug my Android device in, because I do not like to use emulators anymore. There we go. So I use my little Nexus, this little old device I have sitting around. It's kind of slow, but it works. Actually, it's really slow. It's really slow. But it works for debugging apps, right? So I think in the last stream, we talked a lot about, not a lot, but a little about navigation. So I figured we could just kind of talk more about navigation and get a better understanding of how that really works. Specifically, I think it's important we talk about master detail. I think that's a very common, page layout pattern, and understanding how navigation works in Prism with that pattern is important. And of course, if anyone has anything specific they'd like to know about, we could probably jump into that too. All right? I have no plan. I have no plan today. We're winging it. We're just going for it. Okay? Just going for it. All right. So what do we have here? This is just a blank app. Okay, so we briefly talked about the deep linking capabilities of Prism, right? Of how we navigate. First, navigation is done with a key, right? MMSoft, I got an error when I tried the new template. The full app template we created on stream, what error was it? What error was that? Let me try it. I'm going to try it real quick. Let's test it. I'm going to create a new application. That was Prism full app, right? I'll call it full app 2. Let's just create this and see what happens. So this is a WPF application. You don't recall? Okay, well, I'm going to test it. I'm just going to run through it real quick before we get into Xamarin.Forms. This is the custom .NET template, project template that we created live on stream using a Visual Studio custom iWizard and an extension. So it was pretty fun to write. Visual Studio extensibility is kind of fun. I like it. Okay, so let's just do a build. Alex, I got a .db file created in the solution. What? Solution. There are no .db files, so I don't know how you got that, my friend. But that does not exist in this template. Yeah, I don't see any .db files anywhere. Okay, so the build, I think the build succeeded, right? So let's run it. I'm just gonna make sure it runs. Right? Hello for message. So that worked. Let's go ahead and run some tests. Just make sure our tests work. Yeah, me neither. I need to test more, which is why I haven't filed anything. Okay, yeah, test some more. Zab's 5. I was getting a warning for region names, and also the module project is the startup project, not the WPF. Yeah, so the WPF project, I noticed that too. I need to figure out how to mark a project as the startup project. And then we can modify our extension wizard to do that, right? So yeah, so our test worked, so for me, as you see, the template worked flawlessly. We have a full Prism application template, project template with some unit tests, some services, a test module, right? All this stuff. That's about I survived build. Congratulations. Nice. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed build. But yeah, so Zabeth, Alex, if you guys have any issues with this template, please hit me up on the Slack channel or Twitter. Just hit me up on Twitter, and we can debug that. But yeah, submit any issues you find with this, because as you can see, it worked perfectly for me. Works. I did. Works on my machine. Close. And that's the truth. If I can't duplicate it, I can't fix it. That's just how it is. MMSoft, it was during the initial running of template, never got to the completed UI. I'll try again during this broadcast. Okay, cool. Yeah. And make sure you're up to date. Make sure you have the latest version, MMSoft. So if you go to extensions, manage extensions, make sure you don't have anything in the updates here that says Prism template pack. Right? Just make sure you're up to the latest. And the latest version is 2.2.1. So make sure you're using 2.2.1. So build was awesome. Lostamat says, learned a ton, but spending 2 days all day listening to English conference was hard. What's your native language? Because your English seems pretty damn good to me. German. Well, your English is great, my friend. Mine is better than my German, I'll tell you that right now. The only language I speak is somewhat okay is Japanese. I speak Japanese conversationally. My kanji really sucks. So no kanji for me, but katakana, hiragana, I got that. Got that all day. Okay. Let's get back to this. So, two important concepts that we need to just cover again. Oh, Ali! Cool, I speak Japanese too. Hontou desu ka? Demo, watashi no nihongo ga totemo hete desu ne. Zenzen byonkyo shimasen. What can I say? I never study. And if you use it, you lose it. Right? So I don't practice much. So it's really bad. I don't study very often at all. So, yeah. My Japanese is really bad. Okay, so on the last Thursday... I will learn Portuguese, right? Ugh. I'll try. Actually, funny story. Was it last night? No, the night before. The night before last night. What was Wednesday night? Yeah. No, last night was Wednesday. What's today? Today's Thursday. I don't even know what day it is. So, Tuesday night, I actually crashed a Brazilian live stream. It was pretty awesome because they were... Yeah, that's right. Because I got a link on Twitter about a live stream, and a presenter was presenting on the Prism event aggregator and unit testing it. I'm like, oh, let me check this out. So I joined the live stream. DJ, hey, DJ K, just for you, DJ Khaled, right? Another one. That one's for you, DJ K. Another one. Yeah, so I joined. So I clicked on the link and I watched this live stream, and they're speaking in Portuguese, right? I have no idea what they're talking about, but I can read code, right? I speak code, and they speak code, so we're speaking the same language. And they were talking about the Prism event aggregator and mocking it and unit testing it. And so I made a comment in there, and they're like, "Oh, hey, it's Brian. Hey, do you want to join?" I'm like, "Sure. I don't know any Portuguese, but I'll join." And so I joined the live stream ad hoc. And it was a lot of fun. Good times. All right. Let's see if I can actually start talking about what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so navigation in Prism. Two important aspects that we need to kind of recover from Tuesday when we talked about this is 1, any view you navigate to must be registered for navigation. And remember, when you register a view for navigation, by default, the key is the name of the view. So in this case, we're registering main page. So if we want to navigate to this, we use that key of main page, in this case, main page. So that maps to concept 2 is that navigation in Prism is URI based, okay? It actually uses a legitimate URI object. So it has 3 overloads, but we take a string and convert it to a URI internally to make it a little easier, right? Suck it. Last time I used Xamarin.Forms was 2016. The experience was so great that I switched to classic rocks. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a classic Xamarin kind of person. But that's cool. That's cool. So as the Prism man himself, do you plan to make Prism available for Maui? Yes, we will have Prism for Maui, because Prism for Maui is just Prism for Xamarin.Forms. It's going to be the same thing. It really is. That's all Maui is. Maui is Xamarin.Forms with some namespaces changed. That's it. Right. Okay, so concept 1, we register our view for navigation with our container. Concept 2, navigation inside of Prism is done using a unique key. And those keys map to the pages you're registering. So, for example, in this case, I'm registering for navigation my main page in a navigation page. Okay, so let's just get rid of this real quick. So if I wanted to give this a different name, my page, right? I would have to rename what I'm navigating to my page, right? That makes sense? So by default, if you do not provide an overridden name, a custom name, it's going to use the name. Oh my goodness. We have a raid. Haven't had this in a while, have we?
It's a raid. Raiding with 18. Defend the chat. Do not let them raid us. Unopposed. Tailor code. Take lift. This is the ramp. Thanks for joining. Great to have you all. Awesome. Man,
I didn't see a lot of defending going on, people. I didn't see a lot of defending going. I'm a little disappointed. Didn't see a lot of defending. Tell our code. This is one of the reasons I love raiding Brian. Thank you for the raid, my friend. What were you doing on your stream? How did your stream go? I hope it went well. Now that build is over, people actually watch streams again, right? I actually had a stream on Tuesday during build. Let's just say that not many people showed up. Oh hell. I was waiting for that. Lasamat, redeem the Spartan mask.
I am now a Spartan and will code as a Spartan. Hooah! Palin0304, thank you for the follow. Nice stream effects for raid. That's awesome. I appreciate that. You know, a lot of work went into that. A lot of work went into that. Watch or troll streams, Lasamat says. Probably both. A little bit of both, right? So, you're actually joining at a perfect time. What we're talking about right now... Oh, hold on. Teller Code said we were talking about taking Codepalooza online this year. Oh, man. That will be an interesting challenge for sure. I've heard good things about Codepalooza. I've never spoken at Codepalooza. I've thought about it, but I just never pulled the trigger on it, right? Never made it happen. Good luck with that. I hope you guys figure that out. Curious what platform you'll use to stream your Codepalooza. Well, if it's virtual, it'll probably be easier now. Because can you remind me where Codepalooza is? There's so many of them, like Code on the Beach, and I don't remember where Codepalooza was. It's not the Kalihari or whatever resort? No, that's not it, is it? That's that conference. Where is Codepalooza located? Traditionally, when you had it in person. I'm curious. Okay, so For everyone who just joined, let me kind of give you, Kentucky. There, Kentucky, Louisville. Nice. Well, good luck taking that thing online. So I run Boise Code Camp, and we were considering making it online this year, and we said, no, forget it. We're just not going to do it. Wasn't worth it for us. But we're not a paid event either. You know, our Code Camp is free for everybody and run by volunteers, so we just said, nah, no Code Camp this year. Anyways, it did work this time. Oh, good, MMSoft, it worked. Perfect. I'm glad it worked for you. Okay, so for everyone who just joined, what we're talking about now is we're starting to talk about navigation in a Xamarin.Forms application using the Prism library. And you may have missed this, but there are two main concepts that you have to understand when dealing with navigation. First, navigation, you navigate to a key, right? A unique identifier. You don't navigate to like page instances or view model instances or anything like that. Navigation in Prism is completely decoupled, okay? So you're navigating to an experience, if you will, a unique identifier. And to create that mapping to a unique identifier, you do that when you register a page for navigation. Okay, so in this case,
we're using container registry, register for navigation, the name of the page, and then the view model associated with that page. And this is optional. You don't have to do the view model, but I always do because I like to be explicit, right? So what this does is it creates a mapping. So now, if I want to navigate to main page, I simply say navigate to main page. If I want to provide a custom name to this, say my page, then I would navigate to my page, right? Pretty self-explanatory, okay? So let's put this back. And you know what? I haven't actually deployed this to my device yet. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna get this deployed while I talk some more, because this is a really slow device that I use for debugging. So it could take a minute, right? It could take a minute to get on there. So does Prism support using a shell since Xamarin.Forms got shells? No, not right now, because the Xamarin.Forms shell kind of sucks in my opinion. Kind of sucks a lot. And so we've been working with the Xamarin.Forms team to try to get them to make some changes to allow the support of Prism. However, we're not there yet. It's not there. It's a work in progress. But the shell is just not written in a way that promotes separation of concerns and clean code. And actually, that's all of Prism. I mean, all of Xamarin.Forms. All of Xamarin.Forms does not promote any of that stuff, which is why you use things like Prism. Okay, cool. One last thing is I need to launch my Visor. So Visor is an application I use. Oh. What is going on here? There we go. So Visor is an application that I use to mirror this device to my machine. So you can see this emulator. It's not an emulator. You can see this Visor mirror. But this is like I can hit back and it's going to exit the app, right? I can like swipe around, swipe up, right? So when I interact with this, it updates on my Visor mirroring app. So if you've ever wondered how that happens, that's how you do it. So I just have a USB cable plugged into this device, plugged it into my machine, and then I have Visor, and Visor just mirrors this device. It's pretty slick. And it's a lot faster than running an emulator. I don't run emulators anymore. It's ridiculous, right? Suck it, Murari. Yeah, taking care of solid is a concern. Yeah, so in Xamarin.Forms, just the way Xamarin.Forms is written, they promote the worst coding practices I've ever seen in my life. Even the samples they ship have the worst coding practices ever. And it's just the nature of the platform. So that's why you would use something like Prism to have highly decoupled code that's testable, extensible, maintainable, all that great stuff that you get about it, right? Didn't know about Visor. That's why I watched your content. Yeah, so Ali, it's Visor with a Y. V-Y. Let me see. Do I have... Got my Twitter here. See this 14 notifications? That's because I was complaining about build. So people are probably flaming me. How could you not like an online virtual event? It was amazing. Why do you hate it so much? You suck, Brian. Yeah, I do. So it's Visor with a Y. So visor.io. Right? And so, yeah, a window to your Android. And it's free. If you go to pricing, you have the free version, which is screenshots, mirror, and control. And then the pro version. I just paid the $40 for a lifetime for the pro version, so I don't have any issues. You can actually drag and drop your APKs. Like, let's say I built this app as an APK. I could literally drag and drop that file into this mirror, and it will install the Android application via the APK. That's pretty cool. So I highly recommend the pro version. It's very useful. Okay. Samad, I didn't see that much complaining. Guess Microsoft moderators did a good job. Yeah, it's all right. Bucket, Prism, and MVVM Cross saved so many lives. Yes, and a lot of time and headache, for sure. Okay, so what I did is did I run this? Oh, I did run it, but I emptied. Let me stop. Let me do this again. Yeah, so Visor free version has ads. Sometimes very embarrassing ads pop up. Careful. Ooh. That's a great point. That's a great point. So is it Saket Murari or is it Saket T Murari? How do I say your name? I just might call you Saket. Everyone likes Saket. Except me. I don't drink alcohol, so. Okay, so this is the application. We ran it on the initialized. We said navigate async to main page. And if we open up our main page, it's nothing. It literally says, welcome to Xamarin.Forms and Prism. And because we're using... Oh, are we using hot reload? I might need to update Xamarin.Forms on this. Let's find out. Let's find out. Nope, we got hot reload. Sweet! Suck it. Okay. Just suck it. Got it. I don't know. I kind of like suck it a little better, you know. Suck it. Got it. All right, so it looks like we do have some hot reload, so I can make changes here and save them, right? And then I don't have to restart my debugging session. It automatically just updates with hot reload. So that's actually a new feature in Xamarin.Forms that you get, which is kind of nice. Now, let's talk briefly about deep linking, and then let's get into the master detail, because, you know, I kind of covered this on Tuesday. But I briefly want to talk about some basics of, let me move the stream manager over. Some basics of the navigation, just for those who missed on Tuesday, right? If you probably missed on Tuesday because you were watching build, okay? So what's really cool about deep linking is deep linking allows you to build your entire navigation stack with a simple URI or simple string. So for example, let's say that I want to wrap my main page inside of a navigation page. So let's do that. So all I did was I prefixed my navigation path with navigation page / main page. What that's saying is I'm going to navigate to a navigation page. Then I'm going to take the main page and I'm going to put it on the navigation stack. Okay. So check this out. So now let's run it. Okay. Ali, I hate that hot reload doesn't exist on UWP. Right? It works in WPF. It works in Xamarin.Forms now. But no UWP? What's up with that? Okay, so let's wait for this slow little emulator. No, yeah, I keep saying emulator, but it's not. This device, right? So now notice a difference. Right away, we have this title bar at the top that wasn't there before. And that's because we have wrapped this main page inside of a navigation page using deep linking. So using Prism, you build up your navigation stack. So check this out. You know what? I wonder. I'm going to use an app map. I'm going to use an app map to add some views here. Okay, so I'm going to add a content page. I'll add another content page. I'll add another content page. I'm going to call this view A. View B. view C, and I want to navigate all of these to each other. So let's do this. And then for my base class, I actually want my custom view model base that I have. Views, view models, perfect. So for those of you watching, like, holy crap, Brian, what are you showing me right now? What are you showing me? Because my mind is blown. And I know your mind is blown right now. But what this is an extension to Visual Studio that allows you to create Xamarin.Forms applications using a Visio design experience. And it will generate all the code, all the navigation, all the view models, all the views, all the XAML to make that happen. So watch, I'm going to say generate. And keep in mind, I added this to an existing project, right? This was an existing project and I added it. So did you see what happened? My views, view A, view B, view C was created. View A view model, view B view model, view C view model was created. And then everything was registered for navigation for me automatically. Okay. Pretty sweet, right? Okay, so that needs to be fixed. That's actually a bug that I need to fix. I just haven't got around to it. That's an easy fix, though. I need to update my template is all. Okay. So let's do a quick build. Where do I sign? There's no... Oh, that's why. Okay, let's do this. Let's copy and paste. That's the only problem also that I need to figure out is I need to interpret your base class because I'm able to choose my custom base class, but I was not able to interpret the constructor of that class to generate that automatically, right? So that's something that I need to look into, but I do a lot of code generation and it's really fun. But that would be a cool little feature to add so you don't have to do this yourself, right? So let's just fix these CTORs. Okay, and you know what? I need to update these. I need to say view A. Let's update the text because I did copy and paste. It's going to get me view B. And then here, this is view C, right? All right, so this should work. All right. Pujo, where do I sign? It's free. Just look it up. Just go to extensions, manage extensions, search online for the app map, Infragistics app map, right there, and you'll get it. It's completely free. Knock yourself out. Last about the devil is pleased with all the new souls he gets due to Brian. Oh, MMSoft, I attempted to add full app to an existing solution and got the primary. Yeah, because it's a full app. You're not going to add a full app to an existing solution. So I'm probably not going to handle that, actually, at all. That MMSoft, that would probably not be a supported scenario. Okay. So what do I have? All right, so what I wanted to show you is now let's take... Hold on, let's do a build. So I've added all three of those views. Okay. Now, this is where deep linking is extremely powerful. View A. / view B / view C. Save. Run. So what we're doing now is when we start the app, we are creating this navigation stack that's going to be inside of a navigation page. We're going to have a main page. We're going to have a view A. We're going to have view B. Then we're going to have a view C. And that is going to be the view that you see on screen. Is view C. Okay. Let's just wait for this slow device. Okay, so here's view C. Check this out. You see the title? So we're going to hit back. View B. See the title? Hit back. View A. Got that. And these buttons. Boom. Oh, wait. I didn't hook that up. Sorry. We need to set the navigation code up for that, for these buttons. But if this was generated with a new project, that would have worked. But in this case, we're using a custom base class view model. So we'll need to hook that up. But we built that entire navigation stack with one line of code on startup. So the power in this is when you're doing, if you're launching, for example, you're going to launch your app from a website. Xamarin provides this override. Oh, what's it called? I haven't used this in so long. App link. Yeah, app link request received. You see this? So in a Prism application, you can do this. Done. You have just launched your app, your Xamarin.Forms app, from a website. Prism automatically took that URI from your website and parsed it. And if you had a URI that looked like this, it would generate that that navigation stack for you with one line of code. It's sick. It's sick. Okay, not only that. This gets crazier. It gets crazier. Okay, so let's do this. Because I want to play around some more. I want to play around. Let's just get a main page, right? Man, my boss is trying to text me over here. Oh, hold on, let me tell him. I'm live streaming right now. Sorry, I can't talk. Hold on. Let me say. Does he want to say hi to everybody? Does my boss want to say hi? What's he saying? Okay, he's just laughing. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, he'll connect there. See you in chat, my friend. Huh, Dan. Oh, that alert was coming from you. Crap, I thought it was from my desktop. Vern. Oh, I missed some of this. Vern, when you're deep linking like that, is the CTOR for each view called for every part of the stack? Yes, it is. What we are doing is for each page in that stack, you are creating an instance of that page and putting it into the correct navigation stack. Okay, that's the reason you can actually go back, because that page actually exists. Now, or maybe not, because you already said nav is completely independent. Nope, we do it. Every page gets created, and I'm gonna show you some really cool stuff with this as well. Okay. So let's go to the main page here, and we're gonna add a button. Right, I want to add a button here. I wonder if this. You know what? Maybe. I don't know if I should have a button. Maybe. Okay, I'll just go with it. What the heck? Binding, navigate, command. Okay. Let's go into our main page view model. Let's create a command. Navigate command. Why did you rename that? That's what I wanted. Navigate command. And then execute. Okay, so we have our navigation service here. Jason Perez. Who are you? Who's Jason? Welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you. You know, Jason, you share. This is just a really weird coincidence, but you share the same name as the senior vice president of Infragistics. That's just weird. It's a good name. It's a good name. It's a powerful name. Powerful name. You know what? I'm gonna have another kid just to name my kid Jason Perez. So for everyone watching, Jason is my boss, and he's here. So make sure you tell him that I actually do a lot of work. I work a lot. I provide a lot of value to the community. So please let me keep doing this. Okay. Dan, well, at least now Jason get his chat message responded to by Brian. Okay, so what I want to do is we're gonna do this. We're going to await. Nope. Okay, fine. Let me add async void. We're going to await the navigation service dot navigate async, and then we're gonna give it some path. This is where we're gonna play around. Okay, because this is gonna be very interesting. Okay.
Oh my god!
stencil. Code stencil. Code stencil with the bits, man. Thank you very much. And
We have Lasamat with the Spartan Mask Redemption. So now I will code as a Spartan. Ooh-ah! Ooh-ah! Okay, so what I want to show is, besides the deep linking, the power of deep linking. So here, let's put this in. Let's put in the view A, view B, view C. Okay, so thank you, Jason, with the subscription. My boss just subscribed to my channel while I am a Spartan. This stream is ridiculous, people. It's ridiculous.
What kind of place is this?
See, he just gave you a Twitch raise. Okay, so, what I'm trying to show here is, so we're on main page, and when we get to the main page, we're gonna click this button, and we're gonna navigate to view A, view B, view C. Okay, we've done this, we kind of see this. Let me make sure this is set up.
When one person meets another, come together.
Thank you for the follow, my friend.
Oh, they are blending.
We are blending, my friend. We are blending with code. Code brings everyone together. Okay, so I think I have this set up right. So let's just test this right quick. I'm gonna run it. Before I show you the awesomeness that I want to show you, I want to make sure this is functioning first, okay? So I need to get a faster device because this device is really slow. There we go. Okay, so I have this button with no text because I didn't put text in it. But I should have clicked that, view C, so go back, view B, go back, view A. Okay, it works perfect. Awesome. So let's add some text to this button so it's just not blank. Text, navigate. Works for me. So the awesomeness that I want to show is, besides this deep linking, right? We have to get data to these pages, right? So if I'm navigating from main page, chances are, like, maybe I have a list of products, a list of customers, some data that I need to pass from one view to another view. And so how would I do that? Well, first off, we could do this. One approach is I could say, I'm gonna create some new navigation parameters. And if I'm passing actual objects, I can add them, not as in what is it? Add. We can add them like this. So like, for example, name, okay, and we'll pass Brian, okay.
Or if you wanted to add like a person object, and this was your person, right? Something like that. This was an object instance, okay? We could do that, but let's just do this first. So now I'm gonna pass that parameter list to these views. Now check this out. Let's go to view A. Let's override on navigated to. Okay, I'm just gonna copy and paste this into the other view models because it is all the same. We will override, and I'm gonna set breakpoints on here. So what we're doing is, if we look at the view model base, there are a few interfaces that I'm implementing. One of them is iNavigationAware. Now, iNavigationAware provides two methods, onNavigated_to and onNavigated_from. So this allows Prism to notify my views and view models where it is in the navigation process. This means that I can respond to code as I navigate to a view or as I navigate away from a view, right? What's that? Soonfred? How do you say that? Am I saying that right? Did I just jack that name up? I'm so sorry. Soonfred? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Okay, so I put a breakpoint on all these navigated twos. And so let's go ahead and, oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's set the title equal to parameters dot get value. This is a string, and it was name. I think I called it name. And I'm gonna. Oh, wait. How about? No. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do var name equals. And then title is going to equal. Title. Space. How about that? Right, and then name. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just filling around. Okay, I just want to append this to the end of title. That's all I'm doing. So let me copy this. So we don't even need breakpoints. Don't even need breakpoints because I'm just going to use code for each of these. Okay, so let's run this again. Dan, but what if I need to know if it was navigated to for the first time or navigated back? I'm not there. Okay. Okay. Where's my visor? Here's our application. Let's navigate. Did I not? Oh, yeah, navigate. I was on navigate. Go back. Oh, whoops. Hey, I hit the breakpoint. Okay. Why isn't that working? What'd I do? Do I need a rebuild? I might have a conflict in here. Try this again. Let me hit here. I'm passing that in, so we're going to hit this. I have my parameters. My parameters are passed in. Name equals Brian. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. But that didn't update for some reason. You see that? That didn't update. I don't think... I had that set property. That's very interesting. The binding didn't update. I think my code is messed up. No, that should totally work. View A. Let's do this. Put that in Sam. Oh! Ha! I think you're right, Holly. Yeah, let's look at the... I don't even know what's in these views, actually. Let's navigate. It's hard-coded.
Hey, pal. You just blowing from Stupid Town?
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Good catch. I forgot that these are hard-coded. So let's just data bind to that, shall we? That might be helpful if we did that. Oh, okay. All right, so that's data bound. Where's my visor? Fun fact, I asked during the Maui stream if they plan to include MVVM. Answer, no. There are already plenty of good packages out there. Well, there's one really good package out there. All right, so let's do this navigation thing. We know this works. Oh, there it is. Okay, view C, Brian. View B, Brian. Okay, yeah, this works perfect. View A, Brian. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I know that was pretty cool. You're saying, Brian, I was able to pass parameters to every single one of these views in the navigation stack in my deep link, right? But we go beyond this. Because what if, for some weird reason, you needed each view to have a different parameter list? That's about... Okay, I'm off for now. Thanks for streaming. Hey, good seeing you. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Okay. So let's go like this. Let's say... I'm just going to empty this. let's say that view A needed to be Brian. View B name needed to be Dan. And view C's name needed to be Jason. What would happen then? Well, this is a valid URI syntax, right? I mean, we're navigating using URI. So would this work? Bet your ass it's gonna work. What are you talking about with this work? That's one of the amazing things about Prism navigation and URI-based navigation. So not only am I able to pass parameters to the same parameter list to every view, right, using the navigation parameters here, but I can pass individual parameters to each view in our deep link using a valid URI syntax. So go back, this one's Dan, go back, this one's Brian. Done. How sick is that? That is sickness. It's craziness. Okay. Bundy, there are competitors to Prism? Depends on your definition of a competitor. Depends on the... Yeah, Dan, depends on what you ask. So Saket was asking Maui is what? Another forms like cross-platform thingy? Maui is Xamarin.Forms. It's Xamarin.Forms rebranded with some changed namespaces. That's what it is. It's the evolution of Xamarin.Forms. Okay, so that's amazing in itself. Can we pass a serialized object? Yeah. You're not, yeah, you could pass an entire object. You don't have to be serialized. So for example, what kind of object do we want to pass? Let's pass, I don't know, what object do we have to create? Doesn't matter. I can say parameters.add my object and then new some object. Right? Something like that. Yes, you could pass objects. It's pass anything. You can pass objects using the navigation parameters. Where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for the subscription. Okay. So, if loafing. Loafing. All right, so this in itself is amazing. Deep linking, passing parameters to each individual page in this navigation stack, and you can pass shared parameters for all. Okay, so this is actually combining all these parameters together. Okay, so for example, let's go, I don't know, app name, Prism. And so let's hit a breakpoint in one of these here. So in this example, I am passing parameters to each individual view, different parameters in this deep link URL. And then I'm passing another parameter or set of parameters. It could be a collection of lists. It could be objects. It could be whatever I wanted using the navigation parameters object here, right? P. So let's go ahead and run that. I'm going to hit my breakpoint here. We'll look at our parameters list. And what we're going to see is we're going to see that not only do the URI-based parameters get added to this collection, but the parameters that were added via the navigation's parameters object, they were combined. And so we'll have access to both of these. Right? So let's hit navigate, look at our parameters. And now we have two. We have the name, and then we have the app name that I added just then. Right? Pretty cool. Actually, that's amazing. Nothing else does this. Nothing. Even when Xamarin tried to implement Shell and try to copy our URI-based navigation implementation, they still didn't get it right because they don't support that. And it's a shame. It's a real shame. Okay. So now that we kind of understand deep linking. I got to go back. Boy, did they fail on that. Yes, Dan, they did. Major flop. And I know, so Dan, for everyone who's watching, Dan has been working really closely with the Xamarin.Forms team to try to make shell usable. It's slow work, and I actually think, Dan, isn't that work on hold? Like, you couldn't get there, and now with Maui, like, that work is just probably not going to happen for a while. I think that's kind of where we're at. It's just kind of put on hold until the whole Maui thing's figured out. Because now that Maui is here, I don't see us working on shell at all for Xamarin.Forms. That'd be a waste of our time. Like, why would we do that? Xamarin.Forms is going to die within 2 years. Like, why would we implement shell, right? Yes, on hold because we're waiting on the Maui announcement. That's what I figured. Okay, what am I looking for over here? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now what I want to do is I kind of want to back up a little bit. I need to answer Dan's question. I got to scroll up because he asked about... So he's asking, so Dan was asking, does unnavigated to fire before or after the view is visible? Does it trigger a visible binding update? How can I avoid that? Okay, so that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that for everyone else watching. So when we look at these, let me go to the view model base. When we look at these two methods, onNavigated to, onNavigated from, obviously, onNavigated from is called when you navigate away from a view, okay? OnNavigated to is when you navigate to a view, but it's important to understand that this method does not mean necessarily that the view is visible or that it's not visible. So depending on the code you're running in your app, if it's fast, it's likely possible that your view has already been loaded, and then this method will be called, and then you'll see a binding update. So if you had a value, that value would kind of flash to update. Okay, so let's can we duplicate that? Let's modify this. Just go to view A. Let's modify that. I'll pass Brian. Let's do, I might be able to run it just like this. Let's see. Forms will die in 2 years. What? So Socket, what I mean by that is Maui is the next, it's the evolution of Forms. So Forms, like we're using it right now, you won't be using this. You'll be using Maui instead. And they're even going to ship tooling to help you like right click, convert to Maui. Like it's going to be a no-brainer. But like Maui, so all Maui really does is right now, if you look at our Xamarin.Forms application, we have our shared project. And then for each platform, iOS, Android, UWP, you have a separate project. All Maui really does is it gets rid of these project heads. It adds a folder to your app. Here, I'll just do it. It has a pretty icon. But essentially, oh, I'm debugging. It won't let me do it. Okay, hold on. Let me just get to this. Let me get my first point across. Okay, do you see that flash? Navigate. Boom! You see that? Pay attention to the label. I'll do it one more time. We're going to navigate. Watch the label. You see how it updated? Because that was a binding update that happened there. Because we're updating the title and the onNavigated to of view A. Right? So Maui basically does this. Platforms, and then you'll have iOS, Android. It just, you go to a single project, right? And then you update some namespaces. I mean, they have an opportunity to fix XAML, but they probably won't, and that's a shame. But anyways, okay. So the reason that's happening is because in this case, the app is really simple. We're not being bogged down. We don't have any async code running that's pausing up any type of loading. So when we're in onNavigated to, our view has already been visualized, and then the binding update occurs and our value is updated. So we have another interface that allows you to initialize your pages, okay? So it's called iInitialize. We also have an async version of that. But iInitialize has just an initialize method. Now the initialize method, this method gets invoked before the view is added to the navigation stack. So this allows you to initialize or set up any properties that you need visible when the view is first rendered on screen. So for example, if we were to override initialize, we can take this code out of onNavigated2 and put it in initialize, and then we'll run it again, okay? But the difference here that you're going to see is that you're not going to see that binding update flash at all. And that's because the initialize is called before the view is part of the navigation stack. So these values have already been set, right? So let's go ahead and navigate. Pay attention to the label here, the text, right? And you just see the text. There was that flash wasn't there anymore because we initialized those values prior to adding it to the navigation stack, prior to the binding engine making those connections and updating the value, right? Now, keep in mind, this initialize only gets called one time. It's an initializer. It gets called once, right when it's created, and then it doesn't get called again. So if I hit back, this will not get called again. And I have to do this. I have to show you this. I initialize async. So we do have a version. Oops, not there. We have a version of this for asynchronous calls. However, use this at your own risk. One of my biggest complaints about async await is that people don't understand it. Async await does not mean multi-threading. Okay? You are not multi-threading. And what I mean by that is we'll say thread dot sleep 2 seconds. Okay, so let's pretend that we did some asynchronous stuff, or we made some type of call that we are awaiting to return to set up our values before we carry on. Wait, that should work. Oh, sorry. Isn't that right? No, I should be able to return just thread asleep because it returns a thread. It returns a task, right? No, it's a void. What should I return then? I thought that's what it's asynchronous. Was that not asynchronous? Task.delay, that's what I want. Thank you. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. All right. That's what I wanted. Like, wait a minute. Yes, task.delay. Thank you, Ali. Thank you very much. Executor, yes. That. Okay. So let's pretend this task.delay is reaching out to some web service for some whatever reason, and it's going to take 2 seconds to come back, okay? Now, you're going to say, oh, this is great. Prism allows me to make these async calls, and it's task-based. We're waiting. It's just going to be so smooth. No, it's not. That's not how async await works. Because we are awaiting the result of this method, meaning we are pausing the execution of navigation until this completes, right? So now, whenever we navigate, I click the button, 2 seconds, navigate. You see what happened there? So if you have code, if you are using this initialize async and you have code in here, this will pause navigation. It will give your end users a feeling of like sluggishness. Okay. I was actually really hesitant to even add this method, but Dan really wanted it. But when used properly, it works fine. The problem is I don't think most people will use this properly. Okay. They won't. Anything you put in here will pause execution of navigation. Keep that in mind. It's going to happen. That's how we are awaiting the result. Yes, Dan, when used properly. I still can't believe Dan talked me into adding this because I was so against it because of this reason. Because of that reason, because async await is just not well understood. At least in the good old days of multi-threading and things like that, you had to actually understand what was happening. You had to know because it was really a pain in the butt to implement. But you understood it if you were doing it, right? I think I slipped some roofies in your water. Yeah. Okay. All right, so now that we kind of better understand... oh, hold on, one more. Because I have more people here than last Tuesday, so I want to talk about this as well. Is we have another interface that's important for you to understand about navigation, and that's I confirm navigation. Okay, and we also have an I confirm navigation async as well, and that one's okay to use because I confirm navigation has a single method on it. Okay, can navigate, and this will tell Prism if you are allowed to proceed with the navigation process or not. Okay, so what you would use this for is you would use this to prompt your user for input. Should you save this form? Are you sure you want to go this way? Warning, do this, right? So these are areas where you would prompt the user for input, and based on the result of that input, you would return true or false. So in this case, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, I'm going to steal some code because I don't like writing code. Who does? So I'm going to get the name, and I'm going to say if name equals Brian, return true. Else, return false. Right. So this is a non-asynchronous version. I'm just going to use some logic. Like if this was dirty, maybe I would auto-save it or something like that, right? Is dirty, auto-save, continue, right? Something like that. So this is going to be Brian. Let's run this, and we're going to see what happens. Yes, Dan says you are generally going to do some sort of confirmation dialogue. Yes. And for the most part, most likely you'll use the async version to do that. Pop that open. Okay. So we're going to navigate. And it worked because it was Brian. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. However, if I change this name to Dan, and we'll run this again. That night is dirty. Take a bath. Come on in. Okay. And let me bring up my visor. Okay, so now I'm going to navigate, but nothing happens. Nothing happens because the name, so if I hit a breakpoint, right? Try to navigate. The name is Dan. It's not Brian. So we can't navigate. It's not going to go anywhere. Now there's a difference here between pausing navigation, right, with the initialize async, and preventing navigation. In this case, can navigate is the first method that gets called before any navigation is processed, meaning you don't even enter the navigation process until this returns true. Okay? So this is a powerful little interface. And I also want to mention that these interfaces can be used on both the view and the view model. Both of them. Okay, so for example, if you wanted your view, navigation aware, you could totally do that. And you can get these parameters in your code behind if you need them. Okay? That's totally legal. All right. Is COVID positive? Isolate yourself. I like that one. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about master detail now, because this is a really confusing navigation pattern. So I should probably hand code this one, right? Oh God, hand coding. Oh, that sucks. Let's add a master detail page. I'll call it my master detail page. Oh, I really don't want to hand code this. Really don't want to hand. Oh, you know what? Let's do a Prism one at least. There we go. My master detail page. Let's at least do this. Okay, so I get my view model, which is view model base. I want to copy in my... Copy that. This. Okay. So, master detail. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Oh, this is already have something stubbed out too. Nice. And we have a view A, so we need a navigate command. So I added that to here. I'm gonna copy that. I'm just gonna put it in here. Now, ideally, you would have this in a base class, but we're just playing around. And I think this is type string. We got to change this just a little bit. Right. There we go. Get rid of that. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. URI. Socket. I wish. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I'm not getting into that. I'm not reading those chats aloud. Okay. So, what do we have here? Okay. Master detail. Okay, my master detail page. First off, the first thing to know when dealing with master detail page is don't wrap your master detail page in a navigation page. Ever. Do not do this. No, don't do it. The master detail page is always the root. It's always the root. Okay? Your navigation pages are in the detail. Okay? So, note one. That's very important. Never wrap your master detail page in a navigation page. Don't do it. Okay, second. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's talk about how a master detail page works with Prism. First off, you'll notice that there is no detail defined here. So normally in a normal Xamarin.Forms app, you would actually put like your detail information in here, right? So you would have like some type of navigation page in here with some content pages or tabbed pages or something like that, right? But in a Prism application, you don't do that. In a Prism application, your detail is empty because you're going to use deep linking to build that navigation path to the master detail page. So for example, I'm going to say master detail page / main page. So this is going to create a master detail page. Then it's going to create a main page and set the detail of the master detail page to that main page. So let's run this real quick. And get my visor. Waiting for my main page. There it is. Okay. So immediately you're going to say, but Brian, you're not in a master detail page. I don't see the little hamburger menu. I am in a master detail page. I will prove it by swiping from the left here. Whoop. Oh, kind of hard to get. There it is. It's there. It's always there. Now, you might ask yourself, well, Brian, how come, get rid of that. How come that master detail page doesn't have that hamburger menu? What the heck's going on? Well, because in order to get that hamburger menu, your detail has to be wrapped in a navigation page. So in Prism, we can easily do this just by adding a navigation page. Right? So now we'll run this again. So we're building our navigation stack with the deep linking feature of Prism Navigation. Let me open up my visor. So now that we've wrapped that in a navigation page, look what lights up. Now we get that header. Now we get the little hamburger menu right here, right? We get this behavior that we were expecting. And we can navigate within here. Actually, I think I might have broke that. I did. So if I click here, it's not going to work. Oh, no, it did work. I thought I broke that. I guess I didn't. Oh, sorry. There we go. So I'm going to hit back. It's easier to touch than click, right? I can open that up, close it. So, but here's something I want to also point out. It's very important to understand when you're inside a navigation page, that master is always there. So if I navigate to this view, you see the back button? But look what happens when I swipe from the left. The master is always there, and a lot of people don't realize this. And so they will be architecting their navigation structure thinking that people can't get back to that navigation, that master, but they can. They always can. You just don't see it, right? Jason, thanks for joining. I'll see you in our next meeting. Right? So it's very important to understand how this works because it will impact the way you structure your navigation process in your application. Because there are many times where it's important where you don't want them coming back to this master menu. But just because you can't see that hamburger menu doesn't mean that master is not accessible. Okay? It's there. Now, so that's how we get that hamburger menu. Yes! 05. Thank you for the follow. Pleasure having. Okay. So that's just kind of help with understand what's happening here. Now, let's go ahead and click on View A. Actually, I gotta look at my master real quick to see what my command is. Okay, it just says View A. Okay, it just says View A. All right, so I'm gonna click on View A. And did it navigate to View A? Oh, wait, no, of course not, because I don't have any navigation code in here. What I want to do is just click that and make sure I'm getting my View A. Okay, so I'm getting my View A. Perfect. Let's stop this. Okay, so what we want to do now is private async void. We're going to go await navigation. Navigation service dot navigate async URI. Boom. Done. Okay. So now I got to run this again. And then we'll point out exactly kind of what's going on here. Now look what we're doing. We're using the navigate command and we're passing View A as the parameter. And that parameter here maps to the URI. And so this URI is what we're going to navigate to. Okay, that's how that's all put together. So it's easier just to touch it here. Okay, so I'm gonna View A. Boom, we're on View A, but look what happened. Okay. We don't have our title. We don't have the hamburger menu, but as I said, we are within a master detail page. So that master detail, that master is there at all times. It's there. I just swipe from the left. It's there. But you don't see the hamburger menu. Do you know why you don't see the hamburger menu? Anybody? Anybody? Because I didn't order a hamburger. It's because it's not it's not wrapped in a navigation page. Remember, yes, Bundy, no navigation page. So, navigation page / View A. Okay? And actually, let's do this. because I kind of want to get back to my main page. I want to be able to get back, so I'll add a main page one as well. Okay, let's run this and we'll see how it functions. So is this the same navigation stack or a new one? It is a new one. It's a new navigation stack. Every time you click a button, it creates a new stack. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I want to reuse these. Don't do it. Don't try to reuse these page instances because it will get you in nothing but trouble. Okay. So now I'm going to click on View A. Now, because we wrapped it, let me move over here. Right? Because we wrapped our View A in a navigation page, right there, we now have our hamburger menu. We have our title bar, right? Did we navigate on View B? No, we didn't. Okay. But now I can click this and go back to my main page. There's my main page. I can navigate within that, right? Get my go back and all that. Now, here's another very important thing to understand. In this case, I'm on my my main page, okay? And I'm gonna hit navigate. Now, I have a back arrow, so if I hit the hardware back button on this Android device, I'm gonna navigate back to the main page. Now, if I navigate to View A here, what do you think happens if I click this back button? Any guesses? Suck it! Gotta go? All right, thanks for joining. Always a pleasure. So Death Knight thinks we go back to main page. Let's see what happens. You exit the application. Whoa! What do you mean you exit the application? Remember, the master detail is the root of the application. And when you're navigating within a master detail, you're technically not navigating at all. Not navigating at all. What do I mean by that? So technically in Xamarin.Forms, you're just updating the detail property like this. This is not navigation. You're not navigating, right? Navigation actually has a navigation stack, so I think it's navigation. What do they call it in Xamarin.Forms? I think it's navigation service. Whoops, didn't mean to hit that. Or is it just navigation? I think it's just navigation. Yeah. So they have push async, pop async, push modal async, pop modal async. Right? This is a proper navigation stack. This is the back button behavior. Okay? When you're dealing with a master detail page, you're not technically navigating at all. You're just updating the detail property to the new page. That's it. So Prism, like when we navigate to View A, it does this for you automatically. Okay? That's all it does. It sets the detail page. Which brings me to another point. When you navigate, as you can see, our master, we're hard coding a content page. Okay? And then we're calling a navigate command in a navigation page. Now, this is where things get really confusing. Because navigation in Xamarin.Forms is page specific. Okay? Every page has its own navigation stack. It actually has two navigation stacks. It has a non-modal navigation stack and it has a modal navigation stack. And it's particular to each page. So there is no like global navigation service. That does not exist. It cannot exist. Okay? And so it's important to understand where we are calling this navigate command. Now, I say that because a lot of people like to do this. They'll add, let's add a new item. And you know what? We'll make it just a content page and we'll call it master menu. And then they'll give it its own little view model and everything. Okay? Come on, master menu. We don't need to register that for navigation though. And then inside of here, they'll take this stuff like this, and they'll put it in that content page, right? And then what they do is they'll come and set the master equal to that content page. So it would be, I don't have a local namespace, but essentially it would be whatever the namespace was, local, what I call it, master menu. And they'll do that. Okay, and pretend this isn't there, but it would be like that. Okay. Well, you can do that, but it can't have its own view model. Okay? It's very important to understand that any master content page you put here, it has to use the master detail page view model, aka binding context. It cannot have its own binding context, because if you do that and you want to navigate, what happens is you wind up navigating navigation push async. You wind up navigating within this content page only. Okay? So if you did that and you put that as your master and you try to navigate, it won't work. It won't work at all, because you'll be navigating actually from this master menu only. Okay? It will not be using the master detail view model. So the master must use the master detail view model. It has to. Apex Pressure, thank you for the follow. Thanks for joining. Right? So I know that could be a little confusing. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I really understand. So just realize that the navigation service for the master detail page sets the detail property of the master detail page. So in order for your master to navigate properly, it has to use the master detail page binding context, which is the appropriate view model, the master detail page view model. Okay, that's a sticking point for a lot of people, and it just doesn't work. And they're like, oh, what's going on? I don't understand. That's why your navigation's not working. Okay, because Prism in navigation is relative to where you're calling navigate. Okay, by default, it's relative to where. So wherever you're calling it from, that's where you're navigating from. So it's very important. So in this case, if you're going to put your master into a separate view like this, do not give it its own view model at all. So let's do master menu view model. Delete that, right? Let's go ahead. What's the comment? I'm gonna comment this out. And do we have? I wonder if this works. I wonder if this works in Xamarin.Forms. Do I get a? No, I don't. Does that work? Okay, that'll work. That works right there. Okay, so if we're gonna do this, why were you setting the view model locator to false? Just to highlight not to use it. I do not want a view model for this at all. Right? So now what I don't remember, actually, I'm gonna run this because I don't remember if in Xamarin.Forms, if you inherit the binding context automatically into a child control. I don't know. We may have to actually set it. Set the binding context. Dan, do you remember? I don't remember. I switched too many XAML platforms. And in WPF, you actually, any children control would inherit the parent, well, in WPF it's data context, but binding context in Xamarin.Forms. Right? So, what happened? I broke something. I broke something! What'd I break? It doesn't like my master. Doesn't like the master. Did I do something wrong? So Dan says, worth emphasizing. You should only ever set it explicitly in 2 conditions. You need it to not be set, or you have an edge case that requires it. Otherwise, let the dev service set it for you. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I still like the fact that it's there. You know what's going on. But yeah. So it didn't like that I did this for some reason. Maybe because that's there? No. I can't imagine commented out code would cause an issue. At all. Like, that would blow my mind if that was the problem. Oh, Dan didn't quite catch my question. My question was, do you remember if I did master menu, I did it this way, if the master menu will automatically inherit the binding context, or do I have to actually set the binding context equal to the element name, right? Like, whatever the syntax for that name is, right? You know if I have to do that or not? I don't remember. Because I never do it that way. I always just do this. Okay, so Dan says, yes, it automatically gets the parent's binding. Okay, sweet. That's good to know. So we'll just set this back. And we'll delete the master menu. Okay. Let me make sure I got that working again. Because I don't think it liked my master menu at all. There it is. Yeah, I didn't like that master menu at all. Weird. Boop. There. All works. And it's beautiful. Navigate. Back. Sweet. Pretty cool, right? Freaking amazing. I should see jaws dropping all over the freaking place. It's so amazing. Honestly, this type of navigation makes Xamarin.Forms bearable. Honestly, it makes it usable. Otherwise, you have so much... You're creating so many different instances of these views and storing them in memory and trying to manage their state and all this great stuff. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Dan, because you're just building your layout in the master detail, I never created a menu page. I just set the master directly. Yeah, me too. I've never set a separate content page to this. It's always in line like this. Always. Okay. I guess one last thing about MasterDetailPage is you have the ability, for example, I'll put this on the page itself just to show that you can. You can add, I think it's MasterDetailPage options. And you can control the is presented after navigation. So what that means is I'll just return true for now. Oh, no, not return. I'll just say true. Okay. So this property controls your flyout. So I can say, for example, idiom. I think it's what? Idiom? Target idiom dot something like no device. I never do this. Device dot idiom equals target idiom dot desktop, otherwise phone, and you can control, like, depending on the device, you may want that master open. Like on tablets, you might just want the master to stay open and not close, right? So in this case, let's run this again. I'm saying after we navigate, after we click a navigation button, the master that flyout is not going to close anymore. It's going to stay open. Okay. And this is more useful on bigger devices like a tablet or a desktop. Okay. But I just want to point this out. So there we go right there. See, it's open. So if I hit navigate, we navigate. It's hard to see because we're on a phone. But as I navigate around, that flyout stays open now. It doesn't close unless I manually close it. Right? And I can open it, and it stays open. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. You can put logic in here depending on the platform or the device that you're targeting. Okay. So, that's cool. I'm going to set that to false, because that should be false. That should be false! Alright. I'm trying to think if there's much more to talk about regarding that master detail type navigation stuff. Vern, what about Dan's other earlier question on navigation, but not related to master detail? But. What if I need to know if it was navigated to for the first time or navigated back to? Oh! Yeah, okay. So if we go to where we were getting parameters, where are we getting parameters from? View A, view model, I think. Right. On the parameters, we can get the navigation mode. Okay. And this mode tells us if mode equals back, forward, new, or refresh. Now, actually, forward doesn't exist on Xamarin.Forms because there's no going forward. This was a UWP thing, which actually, Dan, we should probably remove this now. I think refresh was only for UWP as well. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that because I don't know if we're using this at all. But back and new. So this tells you which direction you were going. Right? So for Xamarin.Forms, it's only back and new. So new means that this page was created for the first time. It's a new page. Back obviously means I'm going back. That's how I got here. On navigated to, I got to on navigated to because I hit the back button, or I hit a software back button, or I called go back async, right? Because not only can you navigate navigation service, not only can you navigate async, but you can go back async as well. And there's a ton of other features in the navigation service with navigate async. For example, let's say I'm deep in that navigation stack, right? I'm view A, view B, view C. But I want to go back 2 pages and add view D, right? So let's imagine our navigation stack looks something like this. We're in a navigation page, view A, view B, view C, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to navigate back twice and then add view D, right? To where I'm left with something like this. Okay, so how would I do that? Well, assuming we're on view A, assuming we're on view C, we would simply go back twice, then add view D. I mean, come on. That is sick. That is crazy. I got some sound effects for this. Or do I? No, I don't. I don't have any sound effects for that. But yeah, so this allows me to go back 2 pages and then put the view D right where I want it. Okay, so I have complete control of my navigation stack using simple URIs. So what's important to realize about this navigation paradigm that we have here is that we're not tied to any view types. We're not tied to Xamarin.Forms. We're not tied. This is very loosely coupled, meaning we are highly testable, right? This is easy to test. It's easy to extend. It's easy to maintain. All this great stuff. So, yeah, the shell people love. Exactly, right? So, not only do we have go back, but this is more when you're trying to manipulate or remove views, right? And you could do this. You can add 2 views onto the end of that if you wanted to. Right? You're not limited to the one. You can see that /// go back to add these 2 views instead. Right? And yes, Dan makes a good point that this syntax only works with in a navigation page, which I think we should revisit. No, we shouldn't revisit that. Shouldn't revisit that at all. So, Ali, can you understand on which page you are in the navigation stack programmatically? Yes, actually. Hold on. I got to sneeze. Hold on. Do I? Yep, I do. Okay, so sometimes you may not know where you are, which will be kind of hard to tell because you're on view A. But in that case, you can get the navigation URI path. Okay, and this will tell you. This will tell you where you are. It will get the entire navigation path from the page where you called it. Okay, and it will return a full string. Right? So in this case, I'm on view A. So depending on where this was, it would say, in this case, where are we? Let's go to our app. It would be my map. So this would return this. Assuming this is where we were, it would return this. However, maybe I was like, right, wherever you are, it will return the correct URI path to that view's location in the navigation stack, right? We should hold off any resubs until he has a extra sneeze effect. Yeah. I've only done that once. What are you talking about? What's the first time I sneezed? Yes, Alex, you're probably right. I probably will come up with some type of sneeze alert. I got lots of cool alerts that I actually haven't been using because I've been so focused on talking. Awesome. Okay. You know what? I actually, I think that about wraps it up. I mean, we actually covered a lot in the last 2 hours. I mean, we really went into the weeds on some of this navigation stuff. And even then, we didn't talk about things like XAML-based navigation, where I could just navigate from XAML and not have to have a service, right? Yeah, there's all kinds of cool little features in here that just makes Prizm just required. If you're doing Xamarin.Forms, you have to use Prizm. You have to. Otherwise, you're just going to be driving yourself crazy trying to get stuff to work, trying to navigate, trying to be testable and maintainable and extensible. Maybe next week? What is that? Guy Royce, thank you for the follow. Pleasure having you. Maybe on, actually on Tuesday, I'm not streaming because it's my day off. I'm taking a long weekend. And so I'm actually going to take the day off. But on Thursday, maybe we should talk about modularity and how we can utilize modules and how we can navigate and communicate between them with event aggregation and all that cool stuff, right? I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff we can do there. But damn, who said you're allowed to take days off? I say it. Damn it. I feel like it's been forever since I've had a day off. Brian, was MVVM invented by your WPF team? Well, not my WPF team. Actually, it was, I'm trying to remember. John Gossman. I think it was John Gossman was the inventor of the MVVM pattern. Let's actually look that up real quick. I think John Gossman, MVVM. Yes, back in 2005. Here is that blog post. Back in 2005, John Gossman, they put it in the docs, actually. Holy cow. Invented the model view model pattern for building WPF apps. Pretty slick. Have you covered regions on a stream yet? Well, I did a couple streams months ago where we built a Prizm application for WPF that mimics Outlook. And we did a lot of region navigation there. And I recently did, about another month ago, streams about building my Pluralsight course, which I'm actually starting to record now. And we went deep into all the types of navigation, region adapters, what region adapters you have, view discovery, view injection. Like we went over every feature inside of Prizm for this Pluralsight course I'm working on. So those are actually backed up on my YouTube channel, right? So you can go check those out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have, I'm getting there. I have over 5,000 subscribers, which is awesome, right? Dan, we'll be talking about it a lot once the regions PR gets merged for Prism.Forms. Yes. Yes, Dan has been working on getting a form of region support in for forms, kind of taking stuff from the WPF side and trying to make it work on the Xamarin.Forms side. Right. So when is Prism update and Pluralsight expected in MMSoft? Great question. I just recorded module 1 and I'm waiting for feedback, and it's been a week and they haven't given me any feedback. Now, you're saying, why would you wait for feedback? Well, because I record like 12 videos for one module. And what I don't want to happen is not leave enough time in the beginning, not leave enough time at the end. Something, my audio might not be right, or something's off with the resolution, or something's wrong. They don't tell me. I go record the other part of the course, and then they come back and say, oh yeah, well this isn't right. You got to change all that. And so I'm not going to do that. I am waiting for them to tell me this is good, or actually going forward to make sure you make this change before I continue. I'm waiting on that. As soon as I get that information, I will continue to record, but I'm really hoping to have it done by, what are we at? By end of June. I'm hoping to have it done by end of June. Yeah, so Dan says it actually shares a lot from WPF. Yeah, but I still saw code in there where you're using that iRegion navigation service and not the iRegion manager, which the iRegion manager is the go-to for region navigation in every other platform we support, so we should probably keep consistency, just saying. We'll talk about that later. Not a big deal. Bundy, a stream on testing would be interesting. That would be interesting. I know lots of people who stream on testing. Actually, Dan actually did a stream not long ago dealing with testing. So Dan says, there are some changes that I had to make because of similar interfaces between region navigation and Xamarin.Forms navigation. Huh, interesting. All right, well, we'll have to look into those. I haven't really paid attention to that stuff. But, okay, well, you know what? Now would be a perfect time to let's raid somebody. Does anyone have any recommendations? I'm going to hop over to Twitch. I'm going to hop over. Mute that so you don't hear me talking again. You know what? C# Fritz is on right now. He is always raiding me, so I think it's only fair we raid him back. Right? And you know he's talking about build stuff. Right? You know it's like some type of build content. So let's get this raid ready to go. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for joining me today. It has been a pleasure. I know you could spend your time doing anything else, but for some reason you chose to spend it with me. I appreciate you. I love you all. I will see you next time. Enjoy the raid. Have a great weekend. Memorial Day weekend. Barbecue. Family. Don't get sick. Have a good one. Out of here. Raid.